And that's really what this gathering is all about, as far as we are concerned. We call it the art of allowing. And it's really you figuring out how to allow yourself to be at the vibrational frequency in order to realize the answers to the questions and the solutions to the problems and the dreams that you've been dreaming. You should be realizing them, you see. You went to the trouble of sifting through the contrast in order to focus them into being. Now let go of the trouble that helped you focus them into being and begin focusing in the direction of wouldn't it be nice if, and how good will that feel when, and aren't I just going to love it as that occurs, and isn't this the most wonderful thing that is going on today? As you begin focusing yourself deliberately in the direction of things that feel better to you, you're going to discover an avalanche of realizations. And the reason that we are really emphasizing the word realization, we want it to stick in your brain a little bit, is because there is a vibrational reality that we are already realizing on your behalf. But in order for it to flow into your experience in a way that you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it and realize it, in order for that to happen, you've got to be on the vibrational wavelength of the solution or of the request, not on the absence of it. And that's a little tricky for most humans, because you think when you're talking about money that you're talking about money, but usually you're not talking about money, you're talking about not having enough money. Or when you talk about a lover, often you're not talking about a lover, you're talking about where's the lover, where is the lover, where is the lover? Where's my lover? I see you have a lover, and you have a lover, and you have a lover, and you have a lover. Where's my lover? Where's my lover? Where's mine? Where's my money? When does my ship come in? When do I get mine? And we say, as soon as you stop acting like that, as soon as you stop the pity party, as soon as you stop arguing for your limitations, as soon as you no longer offer the vibration of the absence of it. And how do you know whether you are offering the vibration of the absence of your desire or the presence of your desire? Well, there's two ways: how you feel and whether you've got it or not. Because if you don't got, Esther loves hearing that when she edits back afterward. Abraham, I know good English. Why don't we speak it? For effect. I'd like to get your attention. We want you to be the receivers of all that you're asking for, and not necessarily the immediate receivers, because if you were the immediate receivers of everything that you're asking for, this seminar would be about de-manifestation. I've got too much. Too many people, too many lovers, too much stuff, way too much money. I need to tailor it down to something more manageable. So we are not eager to get you in this pattern of instant manifestation, but we are wanting you to relax and allow more of those things that have been swirling in your vortex. This vortex, which is the vibrational version of everything that you're asking for, where all cooperative components have been assembled, just waiting for you to become one of those cooperative components. And in the moment you stop doing that thing you're doing that's keeping you from being a cooperative component, you will move swiftly into the vibrational equivalency of all that you have become. And when that happens, you will have an instantaneous realization. See it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, of what you are asking for. We are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. If it matters to you, it matters to us. What you're going to discover is the perfect unfolding. This is the perfect gathering. There are many of you out there in cyberland. We're glad that you're there too. And if you will project your thoughts, it is beneficial to the whole. If there's something that you're wanting to know, sitting in this room or sitting around your living rooms around the world, if you will set forth your intention, it is our promise to you that the answer will be given here. The question is, will you allow the revelation to yourself? So it sort of depends on how good you feel. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would sit back with an intention of hearing everything that is important, understanding you don't have to hear every single thing we say, because we are talking at a very fast rate. Have you noticed? Esther has been practicing the wagging of her tongue. She never stops talking, actually. And as we are feeling from you, receiving your vibrational requests, we are melding it into the delivery of the most powerful presentation on deliberate creation and art of allowing that has ever been rendered in this physical time-space reality. So sit back and expect to receive not only what you are individually asking for, but leading edge information, because it is certain that today we will go where we have not been before. What do you want to talk about? You are ready. We're ready for you. It's going to be fun. Don't storm the stage. We'll choose you one at a time. If you'll come and sit in the hot seat, Sandy will position the microphone. If you'll wait a little bit as she is positioning it, because it makes a little bit of noise. And if you're talking while she's moving it, then you hear the noise under your voice. So just sit still for a minute. It's taped to the floor, but it's close to the edge.
That's where I like to be.
I just want to know first.
This doesn't have to be right in your face, but if it's a little bit closer to you, everyone will hear you better. You'll be glad later, and we'll be glad now.
I feel it. When I see you, is it the spirit part of me talking through me to me through Esther? Or is it Esther's Abraham explaining my broader part?
Well, it is some of both, but the inner part of you cannot help but be intertwined with the inner part of Esther. But the bigger question is, in your physical Esther right now, because of her practice, because of her practice of high vibration, and she's not always there, but she is right now, because of her practice of meditation, Esther is at the frequency that we are. That's why she can translate so easily what we are wanting to convey. As you are sitting here and conversing, you have that option too. Sometimes when someone sits here, it just happened, they are up to speed with who they are, and so the conversation is one of connection, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. So we can't answer that question as a constant. We have said lovingly and playfully to our physical friends, your connection to who you are is not like a college degree where once you achieve it, it is yours forevermore. It either is or it isn't in the moment. And you can tell by the way you feel whether that is happening. So you would be able to describe that. Sometimes people will sit down and they will say, I'm so nervous. And so it is our first order of business to put them at ease, because we know that if we are able to help them find ease, that then the communication will happen more from both being at the same vibrational frequency.
From one way, when I see things around me, it's making me kind of excited and scared, and I can't believe it, how it will be possible that things around could speak to me.
Well, we can't believe how it could be possible that you would not always remember that. But we know that Esther was sitting on the airplane, a very small airplane yesterday, looking out at the tarmac and the other airplanes. And she noticed that everything out there had no color. And then she shifted her eyes and full color came back into the spectrum. And then she shifted her eyes another way and there was no color. And then she shifted her eyes another way and there was full color in the spectrum. And it's the first time she's ever had the experience where she was looking through her eyes at the exact same thing and seeing color and then no color, color and then no color. You are the interpreter of vibration through your eyes, you see. And you have the ability to see with these eyes things that you don't often or commonly see with these eyes.
So, sorry, thanks Jerry for his conversation with me.
Yeah.
And his kindness.
Yeah.
And I see Esther's as well.
Yeah. And are you refreshed? Good. Now what? Hard to imagine that there could be more. And yet there is. Right here? Yeah.
Hello. I have a couple of questions. The first one, I've heard people say and read in books about how, their heart opening.
Can you hear her?
I've heard people and read in books about your heart opening, and I don't mean just in a way of like feeling kindness or something like that. But what is the experience really of your heart truly opening?
Well, since the emotion that you feel is your indicator of your allowing or not allowing of your true connection, then we have to believe that what is really meant by that is just a full connection with who you really are. It's getting the resistance out of the way to allow the path to that enlightenment, alignment, connection.
And is it distinct? Do you know it when you arrive there?
It's an interesting thing, because if you have not been allowing your heart to sing for a while, then it's not likely that you're going to do it all of a sudden. We talked recently, it's an analogy we've used from time to time, that if a train is going 100 miles an hour in this direction, it's not all of a sudden going to go 100 miles an hour in this direction. It's going to slow and then pick up momentum again. And the same is usually true of the thoughts that you have and the emotional response to those vibrations. You usually don't just all of a sudden turn it around. A feeling of exhilaration would certainly be amplified if you could all of a sudden release resistance, and that really is what it will be when you experience what you call that death experience, where you reemerge into non-physical and in one fell swoop release all resistance and allow your vibration to raise. But while you are here in these physical bodies, it is a gradual thing. And so we think that what you're describing in that really intense knowing of it would not come from contrast, like when you're really, really hungry, it feels really good to eat. Not like that. But when you allow yourself to be reaching in the direction of what feels better, and then you allow more and more momentum to gather until that just becomes your habit of beingness. Because when you allow yourself to align with the whole of who you are, and you do it over a consistent period of time, what begins to happen, and this is really the sensation or the reason for the sensation or the point of the reason for the sensation, this is the where it's at moment, when you raise your vibration deliberately or indeliberately, when your vibration rises and the vibration that's in the vortex moves into your grid. In that moment of realization, those are often those really high-flying good moments. And you can get on a path like that where you're so tuned in and you're so consistently feeling good that you're just on the brink of the grid filling in all the time with one thing after another. And that sort of momentum gives you that feeling, that strong feeling of elation. Mm-hmm. We think that might be what you're reaching for in that. Mm-hmm. People talk about forgiveness as being a good feeling moment. And we say what forgiveness is the releasing of the resistance, because you were holding yourself apart from who you really are by pushing against whatever it was. And when you cease to do that and you open that valve between who you are and who you really are, that sensation of energy flowing is really a delicious feeling. And in fact, that's why you came into this environment, it's one of the things that you're most looking forward to, is exploring contrast and knowing what you want and recognizing that you're not in alignment with it, and then deliberately doing something about coming into alignment with it so that the energy can begin moving and the manifestations can be happening.